Hi, probably by now you know how to protect and preserve what you've got. You also know it's important to offer an extremely valuable offer to your market. Availability, reliability in delivery, all these kind of examples I mentioned in the previous video. Now in this video I would like to think with me, like say, how many projects do we run? Are you a project-based company? Well, let me first answer that question. If you're not into mass production, you're doing projects. And in addition to that, if you're doing mass production, you probably have an IT department in which they do projects. Or you have a continuous focused improvement project. So basically, most of the people, if they're not managed by a task list, they're doing projects. And if they are managing by a task list, maybe they should move to a project-based approach. Now, in general, what happens with projects is that we make some estimations of different tasks by asking people how much time do you think you need for the different pieces, the different building blocks of your end deliverable of your project. And while we know those estimates are probabilistic, we regard them as deterministic. That means that people, once they start working on their project or on their part of the project and they've finished early, do you think there's an incentive for them to say, oh, I overestimated my task, the duration that I need for it, please, I have finished my work in half the time and I'll move it on to the next guy in line? Probably not, because they don't want to lose credibility. And next time they ask for the same duration, they may not get it. The second thing is, how do we act when we know that we've got, let's say, 2 months, 3 months time? For example, to prepare for an exam when we were students. When did we start? Immediately? Or let's say a month, 2 months before, or maybe even a few weeks before. And you studied all night long in the hope that you could go through all the material and pass the exams. This is called student syndrome. May that also happen within your company with your projects. Third thing is, what about integration points? Integration points are those tasks that need a lot of deliveries and inputs from other functions or other predecessors. If one of those predecessors is not delivered on time, you can't start the next task. A fourth thing is, what happens if somebody has finished this task, but he's very ambitious and he wants to do a good job and starts gold plating the product, the service, whatever, the features in IT. What happens downstream? Is he really helping the company? And why is he doing it? Isn't it making sure that all the advances in tasks are not getting accumulated, but all the delays are pushed forward, pushed downward to the end of the project? And the last thing I would like to share here is, what about where we put the safety? Why do we put them in different tasks? How do we know that a project is in danger or not? So one recommendation here is also to, besides avoiding student syndrome, besides treating your estimates as probabilistic as they are and not deterministic, besides making a very good integration management and making sure that your people have all what they need when they need it to start their task. Make sure that the safety you've got in your project is set as a buffer behind on your project. In that way you can measure the progress of completion of tasks compared to the buffer at the end of your project. If the progress in your project tasks is getting slower, then the consumption of your buffer at the end is becoming higher, and it will give you a proactive way to measure whether you will be on time whether you need to speed up or whether you need expediting efforts. But these are advanced warnings, not late warnings. It will avoid reactive behavior. That means that instead of saying let's start as late as possible, and once we start working on it, then obviously Murphy hits, something goes wrong, and we consumed all our safety already in the beginning of the task. So obviously we have a big chance there, if we don't expedite very quickly, that we start off with a delay, and all those delays are being accumulated the further we go down the project path. In addition to that, imagine, if you know about statistics, if you know that you've got, like, let's say 3 tasks, and all tasks have a percentage of a probability of succeeding, well, like 90% chance. What is the chance that all those 3 tasks will end at the given due date? Normally what you do there to find that answer is multiply 0.9 by 0.9 by 0.9 by 0.9 to the power of 3, which reduces the total chance of delivering your project in time drastically. So therefore, I would suggest, don't focus on delivering tasks on time, focus on delivering your project on time. Put the buffers there where they're needed to treat uncertainty as it is. Embrace it, be proactive, and let your team work together, cross-functional. Make sure they have what they need when they need to start the work. Make sure that the requirements are clear enough, so you reduce trash, rework, and so on. And especially, of course, costly expediting efforts are the worst, unhappy customers. Okay, I hope you found this 3-part video series interesting. Watch out for more. I may give you a bonus in which I will start talking about one of these subjects we just talked about in the last 3 videos. Thank you for your attention. Please don't hesitate to leave me a comment or to ask me something specific which you would like to be addressed in the next video. Thank you and good luck.